Thanks for joining us today on Real Estate Insiders TV. I'm Danny Poulos with the elite lending team at Blue Chip Lending, and our first guest today is Josh Konigsberg. He's with Web Promotion Partners, and he's a reputation marketing specialist and pretty much all things that are internet. So we have a lot to learn today about how the real estate business has changed and how realtors' presence on the internet has changed as a result of some new rules and guidelines. So Josh, first take a minute, tell us what you do, how long you've been doing it, and we'll get right into your information.
Great, thanks Danny. I'm the Vice President of Marketing and Sales for Web Promotion Partners based in Palm Beach Gardens. I've been in this position with this company for about 3 years. We've got some wonderful members of our management team, one of which probably goes back to 1982 in the internet marketing. So it's a great team. We're doing some wonderful things for our clients and a full array of digital marketing now, specializing really in local businesses and local related search. We do go outside of that box, but that's really our core competency.
But and local businesses, but all types of businesses, real estate just being one, and we're going to sort of specialize on how the real estate market has been affected by some new rules in Google, I guess.
Yeah, that's right.
Tell us the way it used to be and what's changed with real estate businesses.
So as we all know, Google's the 800-pound gorilla, if you will. We're all playing in Google's sandbox. What's the first thing you do if you need a product or service, you don't have a relationship and you don't have a referral? What's the first thing you do? You go online, and if you go online, where are you going? Google. Everybody says the same thing. They have over 90% of the market share for local searches. So we know that. So one of the things that's important to understand about Google is they are constantly changing their algorithm, trying to make search better, and search better for you, the browser, you, the user, the consumer. So one of the things most people don't realize is that Google makes about 600 tweaks to the algorithm a year. That's almost 2 a day. Right?
So your job is really to keep up with the changes, right?
If we can. That is our job. That's correct, right.
To some degree. I mean, if you're just going by yesterday's rules, you're going to fall behind and someone's going to pass you up, right?
That's correct. And so within that about 600 changes or tweaks, there's probably about 4 major tweaks every year that they do. And you'll see those, oftentimes you'll see search results that change. So if you want to go back historically, 4 years ago they introduced this Google Maps thing, or what was known as Google Places, which has evolved over the last couple of years, is now called Google My Business. And what you'll see is teardrops or push pins with an affiliated map to the right. And that identifies the location of a business. By the way, that section gets the most amount of traffic and the highest amount of conversions. Okay,
so that was the big move 4 years ago to sort of center things around local results. So if you were looking for a realtor, you're not going to, someone out in California is not going to take the number one position if you're searching here.
That's right. So for example, realtors, a good example, a better one might be, hey, I'm in Jupiter, Florida, and I need an air conditioning repair guy. Am I going to call somebody in Boca to come all the way up? There's 1,000 air conditioning repair companies between Jupiter and Boca. So Google wanted to make search better, and to make it better, they made it more localized. One of the other areas that we can see a more recent change is in the last 6 months is for the hospitality industry. That would be restaurants, bars, hotels. You would see this carousel or film strip at the top of the page that had a listing left to right of all the top restaurants, let's say, in a given area. So if it was Italian restaurants, we'd see a listing of Italian restaurants. Well, after two or 3 years of that as an experiment, Google removed that about 4 or 5 months ago. And now they only give 3 search results of the top restaurants in the area.
So if you were number 4, your whole world has changed.
Well, if you're number 4, you're now on page 2.
Right.
And by a raise of hands, who goes to page 2 on Google? Less than 5% of people.
Really?
So yes, less than 5%. So if you're not on page 1, it's game over. And not only are you not being found, what's worse, who is being found? Your competitor. Right. So then let's take that and talk about specifically real estate, because they did the same thing. They changed the real estate search results page about a year ago, and what they did was they removed that map and those push pins entirely on all real estate related searches. Now, why would Google do such a thing?
So different than any other business.
Correct.
Really.
They singled out real estate related searches, and what they found was, and the reason they did this, and it's difficult, by the way, it's difficult to get answers. Right. It's not like Google tells you what they're doing. Very rarely, and they just did this, we'll talk about that in a second, Very rarely do they announce what they're doing. And you kind of are left figuring it out, and eventually information gets filtered out through people that are called top contributors. There's only 9 top contributors in the country.
So you're sort of working backwards. You're realizing that the results have changed, then trying to figure out why they have changed and how the people that got to number 1 got there.
And then what we need to do to get our clients back there. That's right. And depending on the magnitude of the change will determine the amount of time that we need.
Right.
So what they did with real estate, they found that there were a lot of realtors spamming the system. So what I mean by that is they were creating addresses that maybe did not exist or were not real addresses, which, by the way, I believe may even be a violation of FRIC.
Right.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So what was happening was you were having the same realtor or same broker populating a lot on page 1, pushing all the other results down, which is not a true search result that Google wants to see. They tried to rectify the problem and eventually just got so frustrated with it, they just said, you know what, forget it. No, we're not going to have any more map or any more teardrops or what's now called Google My Business results on page 1. It's all going to be traditional organic rankings. So what that leads to is now your search results page for real estate related searches are going to have things like Trulia, like Zillow, Realtor.com's, Homes.com, and occasionally you'll see the real estate broker who is very internet savvy and spending a lot of money to do the traditional SEO ending up on page 1 of Google somewhere in that mix of those other searches.
And I can tell you from experience the way they're getting there, just like you said, not making up properties, but taking anyone's listing that has allowed for the internet marketing of their listing, grabbing all of them and coming up in results, having themselves come up with results in that property.
And even doing more.
So that's still working.
They're actually having to do more than that and probably spending, let's just say in a given market, $50,000.
Absolutely, I know of it personally.
Yeah, right, exactly right. So again, who in my audience has that budget? Right. I mean, how do the rest of us do it? And I guess the only way you can do that, again, if you're not on page 1, then you're just really wasting your money because you're getting less than 5% of the market share, even seeing it.
So when it went to localized, it seems like it sort of leveled the playing field a little bit to where you could compete being in the small market and a small local market.
That's a great way to say it.
Right? Mm-hmm. But now with this switch, what does a local agent or a small company do? A boutique company that's not a major player that doesn't have that kind of budget. What do they do?
So therein lies the challenge, and a lot of realtors, as you know, are moving over to Facebook and other forms of social media. The good news about that is typically it's free unless you're hiring a professional like us to do it. The bad news about this, and you've heard me say this before, Danny, of all forms of online marketing, social media marketing is the least effective. Mm-hmm. And it does work. It takes a lot of discipline and a lot of repetition, but then again, when I'm on Facebook, I really don't want to see my friends doing advertising. I'm there really for the social experience of it. So just keep that in mind when you talk about social media. So what that leaves us with, in my mind, really is a pay-per-click type campaign or a reputation marketing campaign combined. So if you're going to do a pay-per-click campaign, the problem with that is you have to have a click budget. And the way pay-per-click works, as you know, and for the audience's edification, the way the pay-per-click works is when you click on the ad, and on Google you'll see it as a little ad, on Zillow and Trulia and some of the other, even Facebook, they have either a per impression, the traditional per impression program, or a click, and that means when the consumer clicks through to your ad, you get charged by the click. So what does a click cost? It depends on the market.
Right.
I've seen it anywhere from 10 cents to $600.
Right, and that would depend obviously on the market you're trying to reach too.
Correct.
So when you come to these smaller boutique type of firms who are dealing in a small market, don't think that a Google per click budget has to be gigantic.
It does not.
If you're concentrating in a small area. But if you think you're going to be able to get to the top of Google on the cheap and not spending anything, well, you can be as creative as you want. A lot of for the real estate business.
Correct.
Those things just aren't really working right now.
It's just you're fighting an uphill battle. In addition to all the constant changes we see, you're just fighting a constant uphill battle against people who just have greater resources than you.
And if you think that you can learn the Google rules like that and all of a sudden be able to take advantage of the situation, forget about it, because there's people trying every day, and it's always sort of a game, a catch-up, unless you work with somebody who's on top of it all the time, whose business it is.
So I'll go back to there are 9 Google top contributors in the country. And then beneath that, you have level 4 contributors, and there's just a few hundred of them. Well, we have 2 of them on our team. So,
All right, so you've got your thumb on the pulse exactly
correct.
Of what's
Right.
going on.
So, and if we don't have the answer, we're going to get it from, because we have relationships with a couple of those top contributors. And we're constantly doing our webinars and our own what we'll call sharpening of the saw.
Right. So everybody that's in the real estate business knows that now the numbers are upwards of 90% of where people start their search when they're thinking about buying real estate. So I'm just saying you sort of need a professional in your corner with the new rules. So that being said, Josh, tell everybody how they can reach you for more information on this, and so they can get started with the program.
Great. So the best way to reach me would be to call. Our toll-free number is 888-977-4866. Again, that's 888-977-4866.
And I can
The
tell you...
website is,
Go ahead.
www.webpromotionpartners, that's plural, partners.com.
And I can tell you from experience, this is somebody that is results driven. You've all had stories of people throwing away money on internet marketing. That doesn't happen here. So Josh, thanks so much for spending your time with us today.
Appreciate it.